This is The Great Outdoors with Jason White, exploring the great outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, The Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hi, friends. I'm Jason White. Welcome to The Great Outdoors. I want to start off by giving a special thanks to our sponsors, the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association. Currently, the MOA is running a 30% discount for the spring and summer months. Again, 30% off the regular membership. You get it for the rest of the duration of this calendar year. You can join today at MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, that's MarianaOutdoors.com, or you can check us out on our YouTube channel. It's the MOA Outdoor channel. All the radio shows that we do are also uploaded into podcasts under Anchor and also Spotify. So if you want to check anything out, get additional information there as well. We're happy to have you. Happy to, give you a tour. But get again, MarianaOutdoors.com, or you can call us at 724-579-0924. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com, or you can give us a call at 724-579-0924. Also, Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Absolutely no fence, no fence, no fence. You can check us out at 10mileco.org. Again, 10mileco.org, which stands for 10 Mile Creek Outfitters. That is who manages and operates Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. If you're looking to do an upland bird hunt, whitetail hunt, free-ranging eastern U.S. turkey, or an abundance of other things, please check us out. Again, 724-579-0924, or you can go to 10mileco.org on the internet. Lots of great information there, and Facebook is also another great avenue to get some information. Last but not least, I want to thank Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency. Please visit Washington County. Looking ahead, we got some upcoming events on the radar for the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association. We just had a 2-day PA Trout Classic tournament. It was very successful. Really want to thank everybody that participated in that event. We had a little bit of a battle with the weather, which is a little bit disappointing for me. I was kind of hoping we have the weather we have right now, cooler nights and not too warm a days. But we had a little stretch there where after we had that that high water event here in early April into March, and it kind of slowed the water down a little bit. When I say that, I mean, we had some pretty extreme temperature days that were pushing 90, and the leaves weren't even out on the trees yet. So just really abnormal conditions, heated the water probably abnormally, and just made the fish kind of a little lethargic on the first day. The second day, the temperatures kind of dropped down and really turned things back on. And ever since then, we've had good rain on and off, and the leaves are finally out on the trees, so the streams are shaded. So yeah, fishing conditions are back to normal. We had a little bit of a weird weather front that came in there, and the days and the nights were much warmer than normal. So, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to battle through the elements. The outdoors isn't always perfect, and you got to just deal with things that kind of as they come. But we had a fantastic group of people from across Pennsylvania. There was a gentleman from Louisiana. We had people from West Virginia, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Brookville, Pennsylvania, a lot of different areas across PA in general. So I was really happy and appreciative of that. Everybody was very respectful, not only of the tournament and the rules, but just respectful of one another, respectful of the sport. And I just can't say thank you enough to everybody. Looking forward to the future because we have some upcoming events that I think people, if you're interested in getting in any of these trout tournaments, we're going to be expanding them. There is going to be one coming up June the 6th, which is a Thursday. That's going to be hosted by the Appalachian Pipeliners Association. The Appalachian Pipeliners Association is a oil and gas networking association geared at midstream activities They do a lot with like kids education, and are a fantastic group of people. But they're going to be hosting an event at the MOA. It's open to the public. You do have to, register and to meet their criteria to register. It's $250 a person, $500 per team. It's two-person teams, but as I said, you got to go through their website, etc. Everything's on Appalachian Pipeliners Association on Facebook, also on Instagram. So if you got any questions, I've also shared it onto the Marion Outdoorsman Association's Facebook page. But everything will go through them. So just so you know, this is their event. They're hosting it at our facilities, but really looking forward to host them, have them, and have another successful event. We will be stocking trout in advance for this event. I tentatively have it scheduled for Wednesday, June 5th, but that's going to be weather dependent. I might do it a little earlier. I'll keep everybody posted on that. I'm not sure at this current juncture how that's going to go. If the weather stays kind of the way it is, we will probably go ahead and stock on time. But if I see some really nice, cool days in advance, and I might just jump on that opportunity as well to get them in the water. So we'll see, but I'll keep everybody posted. Looking ahead beyond both of these particular events with the trout stocking and also the Appalachian Pipeliners fishing tournament, which is June 6th. Saturday, July 13th at 9 a.m. will be the annual MOA golf outing, which is actually a collaboration this year with the Fayette County Farm Bureau. So if you're somebody that, number one, just likes to golf or likes to go out and hack a little bit, please, we can always use some help and support when it comes to helping the agricultural industry and also conservation. For those that don't know, we do a tremendous amount of work, which I'm going to talk about a little bit today. When it comes to conservation. So everything you do is greatly appreciated. Looking towards, end of summer, we'll even say into fall and winter. I just want to put these out as kind of save the date type things. So in October, we're going to be doing a gun cash bash. It'll be a collaboration on October the 19th. It'll be at the 19 North event venue. That is in Washington, PA. That is a collaboration with the U.S. Oil and Gas Alliance and the Marion Outdoorsman Association. Really looking forward to that event. I think that's going to be a tremendous opportunity for everybody to show the collaboration between the gas industry and also conservation again. So just kind of mark your calendars for that one, Saturday, October 19th. And we're going to have some continental hunts. There's going to be some stuff even within the MOA where the members tag contest will fire back up in October, and we're also going to be doing the same thing for the upland birds as well. So we'll be keeping everybody posted on these different endeavors that we're going to be pursuing. And then last but not least, Sunday, December the 15th, that is the day after rifle season ends in Pennsylvania. We are going to be having a winter fly fishing trout tournament. Fly fishing only. So Sunday, December the 15th, we're going to be having a full day, 1 day trout tournament. So once we get a little closer to that, I'll go through all the details. But if you want to register even now, we're only going to have 40 slots available for that. The event is on the MOA's Facebook page, Mariana Outdoorsman Association. Happy to have you. But I want to talk today a little bit about conservation and different types of habitat improvements that we kind of have on the horizon, things we're working on this year, projects we're working on, and also just kind of update you on some turkey hunting tactics and some things going on in that capacity. I know in the past shows I've talked about turkey hunting and just like the spring tactics for opening day. We had that warm weather. When we had the warm weather and it was real dry, I can say that the birds were extremely, extremely aggressive. Birds going around strutting. The birds like it a little bit drier with their feathers and whatnot. They also feel safer because if they got to take off and fly, obviously much easier for them to get flight and create some distance. We've been having this damp weather, I guess we'll call it, over the past handful of days since Saturday. And it's really kind of calmed the birds down. When I say calm the birds down, prior to the rain coming in, birds were very aggressive, very talkative in the mornings, gobbling a good bit. I just did a hunt yesterday where, you have to remember, you don't have to be hitting calls and be using things too much. It can actually be a deterrent. And I was doing a hunt, and the guy wanted to call, did a fantastic job, but he just real lightly, real gingerly hit the call, stopped. We heard a couple turkeys gobbling. It was actually from pheasants cackling. Is actually kind of what probed it. But all in all, a very, very calm morning, very quiet morning. But the gentleman ended up getting a gobbler. The bird didn't come for any call. It did not come in any capacity. It was actually with a hen and a small jake. And what had happened was I had seen this bird, the day or two before, and I knew he was strutting in midday. He was going to be very aggressive. He was not going to want to deal with another full-blown male turkey. So what I did was I put out a hen decoy, a jake decoy, and I had a strutter gobbler decoy. Again, the calls had nothing to do with the hunt. Basically, I knew he was in the territory. I knew that if he saw the strutter decoy, it was going to be game over. And sure enough, as soon as he crested over the hill and saw that decoy, he went right for it. He didn't care about any calls. He didn't care about any other noises. I mean, as soon as he saw what he thought was a threat to his dominance, boom, here he came. And successful hunt was completed, and smiles were had, and it was a pretty awesome experience. So just remember, the weather has a lot of an impact on how these animals act. I cannot stress that enough. Wet mornings with turkeys, they are going to be a lot calmer, a lot quieter. They're not going to be as active just because it's of the threat. You have to remember, these birds, obviously they can run, but clearly they can fly. If they're soaking wet, they're not going to be as vocal because they're going to feel threatened. They feel open to attack. Something could get them. They can't put the distance for them to get away, so they're not going to be as vocal. When it's drier conditions, you're going to see a lot more gobbling taking place. You're going to see a lot more activity, and that's just because, again, they feel threatened whenever they're soaking wet and they can't put the distance on between them and a predator. So it's just Mother Nature at its finest. So just be conscientious of that. You don't have to be hitting that call like crazy. If you know there's a bird in the area and you don't hear anything, that does not mean the bird is not there. That just simply means that they're not talking back, or they're not talking in general for whatever reason that it may be, because it's wet, or even just maybe they're not super active that day. But decoys are always a fantastic option and a fantastic opportunity. I cannot stress this enough. If you have a dominating bird, strutter decoy and jake decoys are great because they feel threatened. They feel threatened in the capacity that somebody else is trying to, take over their territory. So that's when they'll come in, and you'll definitely see them wanting to fight with a decoy or take back their dominance. Something else. I know I've talked about this on past shows about the equipment that you need and things that you should do or shouldn't do. This is something that as crazy as this might sound, I feel like I need to say it. When you're going to go hunting, it is critical and paramount that you check your ammunition in advance of going on a hunt. You should not, I don't care if you're turkey hunting, I don't care if you're deer hunting, I don't care what you're hunting for. If you're going to go hunting, you should go to the gun range, go wherever you're going to go shoot your firearm. You should set up a piece of paper and just verify where it's hitting at. Why do I say this? I say this because if you do not do this, if you do not take the time to do this, and you do not know the pattern of the if it's shotgun, if you don't know how it's patterning at the different yardages, you're doing yourself a misservice, and you're doing a misservice to the wildlife, because if you wound an animal, it's clearly not a good thing. When you pull that trigger, you should know where it's hitting, what it's doing, how it's traveling, etc., and you should be successful. Additionally, you need to make sure that when you put a round of ammunition into a firearm, that it is the proper ammunition for that firearm. If it's a gun that takes if it's a shotgun that takes 2 3/4 to a maximum of 3-inch shells, you do not put a 3.5-inch load into the gun. It is going to jam. I've seen people do it. I've had people do it this year. It is paramount that you read on the labels of because what happens is a lot of people will take shotgun shells and they'll end up putting them into like a container or something, and a lot of times they can get mixed up. And maybe you bought 3-inch shells for a gun last year and you bought 3.5-inch shells this year. They go into your ammunition box and boom, they get mixed up. It's critical. When you go to grab ammo, read the shell. And this does not apply to just shotguns. This applies to all firearms. You do not want to go putting the wrong size bullet into a rifle. You can end up with an explosion where the gun blows up in your face. So these are just things for you to be thinking about, be conscientious of. I mean, think about a situation where you go and you have the proper ammunition in your barrel. You shoot, let's just say, freak accident where you miss or something went wrong. You hit a limb. I don't really know. But you go to reload the gun and boom, it jams because you have the wrong round in. It can happen. It's very critical and important that you know and check your ammunition. Make sure that you have the proper stuff for your gun. Cannot stress this enough. This is for your own safety. This is for the success of the hunt. This is for the respect of wildlife. I cannot stress this enough. I've seen it happen so many times. It should not happen. And furthermore, I just want to reiterate the fact that I don't care if you're turkey hunting or if you're going deer hunting, you don't pull a gun out of a gun safe or out of a gun bag, etc., and wipe the dust off, blow the dust off, and think, oh, well, I'm just going to go hunting. I know where it hit last year. There's no guarantees with anything in life. You need to verify, trust but verify. And to go and let a couple rounds off, practicing, there's nothing wrong with that. Shouldn't be an issue. It's something you should be able to do. And just take that 15, 30 minutes, whatever, to just get your gun, go shoot it real quick, verify where you're at, and then out in the field what it's doing and how it's going to react. These are just things that I hate to say are common sense, but it seems like sometimes these common practice things get left by the wayside one too many times. So please, 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 if you're going to go turkey hunting, if you're going to go deer hunting, I don't care what you're hunting, please take your firearm and make sure you have the proper ammunition for it. Please go and shoot it a little bit. Make sure it's hitting where it's supposed to hit. And for goodness sakes, please, whenever you actually go hunting, make sure that you load the proper ammunition into the firearm. It's unbelievable to me, but it happens. People do it, and I cannot stress it enough. It's for your own safety. Again, for the respect of wildlife and for the success and fulfillment of why you're even going out there. You don't want to be walking away with your head down because your gun jammed because you put the wrong ammunition into it. This happens. Shouldn't happen, but it does. And these are lessons that hopefully I can pass on to you, and that I'm sure it'll strike a chord with some folks because somebody's probably done it before. It can happen, mistakes happen, but if you can learn from them and try to prevent them for the future, that's what we should all do. That being said, I want to kind of divert to some habitat conversations. I know I've talked a lot about the different things we were working on at the Mariana Outdoorsman Association and Wild Acres Farm, and just to see the fruits of the labor starting to happen for me personally over the years of effort that we've invested into habitat and conservation is truly rewarding. When I say that, we've been working on things with, my goodness, We've been working on things in the capacity of field plantings. We started back in February, basically doing our soil samples, figuring out what fertilizers we needed, figuring out the acreages of seeds, the seed mixtures, the ratios. It's not a perfect science, don't get me wrong, but basically you lay out your game plan of what you're trying to achieve. Equipment maintenance, having all the equipment prepped and ready to go, so whenever it's time to plant, you want to be able to take off and go. I'm going to tell a story about that a little bit, of something I dealt with this year, and it kind of was a little bit frustrating. But, this spring alone, all these different steps have been followed as far as like ground preparation, plowing, disking, soil samples, fertilizers, equipment maintenance. Planted, what was it? Let's see, 28 fruit trees were planted this spring. We did a combination of apples, we did a combination of pears, and this is something I know I've said this on past episodes. If you're out at different stores, depending on where that is, there's a lot of great deals that are taking place. Whether you're talking, like your big box stores like the Walmarts, Lowe's, Home Depots. I was actually at Tractor Supply yesterday, and they had small cherry trees. Cherries produce in the summertime, but guess what? Wildlife, predominantly, especially when you're talking about deer, deer need nutrition in the summer when it comes to antler growth. So I ended up buying 6 cherry trees. What I did was I went places around the farm where I knew I had damaged or dead apples, peaches, pears, and I kind of just changed them out with those trees. So actually looking ahead for this fall, I used that opportunity to kind of get ahead of where I wanted to be, kind of ahead of schedule. And, while I'm talking about the tree plantings, I went and changed out these dead trees. When I say I changed them out, I didn't actually dig the tree up. I kind of went about a foot away from the dead tree and dug myself a new hole, put the new tree in. But around that, it's very important. I know I've talked about it again in past episodes, but again, I can't reiterate the fact of having some hay or something like a matting for around your trees whenever you dig the hole. Make sure you dig the hole at the proper depths. Make sure I knew it was going to be raining last night, so that's why I wanted to get them in the ground so they could get really good, a real good watering. This week's really great because we got rain upcoming, so it's like a great time to get some plants in the ground while that's happening. You definitely do not want to be planting trees if you have dry spells on the horizon. The likelihood of them dying is pretty high. That being said, I went back and took the opportunity to do any touch-up on the fence around these particular areas. Got them cleaned up, got them, some, like I said, some additional fencing, some additional netting around the trees, kind of buttoned them all up. But I was really happy with it because now for the fall, I'm actually ahead of schedule. I was going to change these out in the fall, and I was like, man, I can get these cherry trees in here, and that would be a fantastic addition to kind of like the habitat that we have growing here. So I did. I pulled the trigger. I got them. They were like $10. They were like 18 inches high, but it'll take probably 4 or 5 years for them to produce, I assume. Maybe a little bit earlier. I mean, typically they say the trunk of a tree has to be basically the size of the fruit before it'll really. So I mean, do the math. I mean, if you're talking like an apple tree, you basically need a trunk that's pretty close to 3-4 inches before it's really going to produce effectively. I must say though, I planted an apple tree. This was 2 years ago, and this particular tree is only, I'm going to say, maybe 2-inch diameter tree trunk. And I was out yesterday just kind of as I was going around doing my touch-up work. I was in disbelief. This thing is going to be absolutely loaded with fruit. So I am like super excited because these things are the fruit on this tree already. We're not even at mid-May, is roughly about I don't know, the size of a cherry almost already, and these are apples that'll produce probably like midsummer. So I'm excited because about probably 6 to 8 weeks there should be some really nice fruit on these trees. But I took a lot of time, not only just now with like the touch-up work and the fencing, etc., but I did a lot of work even before, putting out some additional fertilizer around the trees. Like I've said again in past episodes, please go back if you want to listen to them. But putting out additional like lime around the trees, putting out some manure fertilizer that I had utilized to really give them a good shot in the arm. All this stuff matters, and you're always going to battle with, does blight happen? Does a tree get diseased? Do you have a dry spell and for some freak reason like trees die? It happens. But like I said, I've been slowly pecking away at this now for years with these orchards and these different fruit trees. And I try to do, like I said, I try to do 10 to upwards of even 30. I had done this year, it was 12 fruit trees, and then I did 16. It was different types of elderberry bushes and shrubs. And then now I just did the cherries. So I'll come back in the fall. My tentative plan is right now, I was actually planning on changing out the dead ones that I just did, but now that I'm ahead, I'm probably going to just add a whole new row to one of my orchards, which will be roughly 8 trees. Nothing too crazy, but best time to do that. Keep your head on a swivel if you're looking to add some trees. Like I've said in the past, again, Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Rural King, Walmart. They always run sales, spring and even in the fall. I love the fall planting. I love to try to get some of these trees like in September timeframe because the trees are on the downturn. They are basically shutting off for the year. So the need or necessity when it comes to water is not like it is right now. Right now, these plants are growing. The leaves are coming on. You're getting foliage, fruit, so on and so forth. They are sucking water from the ground. So it is critical that these plants, it is absolutely critical that these particular plants, have good access to water. But like I said before, when you plant in the fall, you don't have the hurdles, the risks. Yes, you should definitely still water them, which is what I do. I'll actually get a water tank, and typically I'll water around the trees, buckets of water, just to give them a good little dose. Make sure my holes are really wet. But I do that usually mid-September. I'll put them in the ground and fence them in, do the whole 9 yards. And I do this every spring, and I do it every fall. And I'm finally at a point now where I'm starting to see a lot of production, a lot of stuff starting to really happen. And I'm excited because I'm finally seeing, again, the fruit of the labor is finally coming to fruition. It's been years now, 4 years of doing this every spring and every fall, and now I'm really starting to see it really compounding, snowball effect going down the mountain in a positive way. It's really growing. So if you're somebody that has an area of land that you're looking to manage, heck, even if you're looking to just add these types of things for your farm, for your own consumption, you don't have to do it all in 1 year. Even if it's your family farm, buy some fruit trees in the spring, buy 3 or 4 in the spring, buy 3 or 4 in the fall. Can't stress it enough. You need to make sure that you have cross-pollination. You need to read the labels on these things. You need to know, do I need a cross-pollinator to get it to actually to produce? Every tree is different. They do not all need the same things. They don't even all need the same sunlight, water. They're all different. So I cannot stress it enough. Make sure you take that little bit of time to read the label if you're at a store or if you're on the internet kind of looking for them. But if you're looking really to just do something that's cost effective, highly recommend keeping your eyes and ears on a swivel, head on a swivel when it comes to the fall. There's always great deals. And I see some trees at some of these stores. Tractor Supply is not a sponsor of this show. Maybe someday they will be. But I can assure you, some of the best trees I've ever seen have been at Tractor Supply in the fall. Fantastic trees. I'm 6'3", and trees that are probably a foot or two even taller than me. Great quality for what I would see as a great tree. But yeah, highly recommend the fall. Highly recommend doing these things. Again, whether it's for your own consumption or if you're looking at it for wildlife and for conservation purposes, spring and fall plantings are huge. That being said, we got corn in the ground. We did that with a no-till drill. Now, that being said, a little bit of a horror story. I've spent time, I got this John Deere, it's a 4-row no-till drill planter. I got it because I wanted to do more with rows of corn. The corn spacing, the row spacing on this particular planter is basically the max you would see with rows. I want to say it's roughly 2 foot. Fantastic for wildlife because deer can bed in between it. You as a hunter can walk between the rows and, you're not like squished or, if that makes sense. You can get down the rows very easily. That being said, fertilizer boxes, we rebuilt them last year. And then this year I wanted to rebuild the seed boxes. Did that. I thought I had everything taken care of. Redid the seeder mechanisms, the fingers they call them. I thought everything was good. And this just goes to show you how freak things happen. Go and had all the fields prepped. We had sprayed areas for the corn. The areas that we did millet and even like deer block mix type stuff, we plowed, disked it. The areas that I was going to do the corn, I sprayed with, I have it's probably an 8-foot wide spray boom on a quad. And that's actually what I like to use for that because it allows me to be more, I would say pinpoint when I put out fertilizers. I have a big, I think it's 13-foot wide sprayer, or it might even be closer to 20 foot. Don't quote me on that. But for my tractor, I have a 300-gallon tank, and it does a fantastic job when putting out just liquid fertilizer, which we did a good bit of this spring. So the soil contents and whatnot are fantastic as far as the farm as a whole. But back to the corn planter. I did the fertilizer boxes last year, worked tremendously. Go this year, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get these cedar boxes rebuilt. I'm going to get it all new. Go and do it, and we didn't go 20 feet, and I knew something was wrong. The one box just wasn't feeding. And here, there was an old shear pin that had broken. So finally get that. I'm like, okay, we figured it out. We get it fixed. And still this thing, it wasn't working right. I must have fought it for 3-4 hours, changing pins, looking at it. Like I ripped it apart, cleaned it out, put it back on. We run it again. I must have ran this thing about 6 feet, and a shear pin just exploded, just boom, blows, just like popped real loud. I mean, and I'm talking, we went literally 6 foot max. So what we ended up doing, I ripped the whole box off of the cedar. We ran with 3 rows, and basically we had a zigzag back and forth to overlap the rows to get, the planting so we didn't have a big gap. It worked out. Basically went out, spun back around, came back, and we overlapped it. Here, somehow, I don't know how, but, there was a jam before I ever got started. It wasn't running smooth the way it was supposed to. I know I had said on past episodes, and again, I say it today, maintenance and preparation is critical. But even in this capacity, I thought I had it ready. I thought it was ready to go. Spent a lot of money getting it prepped, and boom, this goes and happens. I was super disappointed about it. Still am disappointed about it. I thought I was in disbelief, couldn't believe it. The time, the effort, preparing everything, and then boom, a freak thing happens. But that's life, right? It doesn't always go the way you want it to. Even when you do prepare, sometimes you get these curveballs thrown at you, and it's like, wow, couldn't believe it. But we just we made the best of it. We made an adjustment with, how we put just kind of the tactics of how we planted the fields to fill the gaps, and it worked out in the end. Stinks that it happened. But at the end of the day, I was really happy with the results, and I'm already seeing, we had planted about a week ago, and things are already starting to pop up. So really looking forward to seeing it, continue to grow over the summer, and I'm really looking forward to the fall, because once we hit fall, that's when you really see the fruits of the labor, because everything is in, everything's lush, everything's full blown growing, and it's a fantastic experience, and I certainly cannot wait to see everything just come into full effect, and it's exciting. But that being said, I have a plant coming. It's called Lespedeza. I actually buy it out of Florida from a grain producer, and if anybody's out there looking to do some type of habitat for either deer bedding and or upland bird hunting, highly recommend considering looking into this. Lespedeza is a perennial. It actually looks somewhat like a bush. I don't want to call it a bush because I don't actually think it's branded as a bush. It looks somewhat like a bush, but it gets about 3 foot, 4 foot high. I've seen it to where it doesn't fall down at all in the winter. It is a fantastic cover for deer bedding and for upland birds. Fantastic. It spreads, it gets like these little seed pods on it in the fall. And basically, even at our place, I've seen like migratory birds coming in, eat it. They go to the bathroom in the field, and then you'll see random spots where it's popping up other places. It's a little more money. I mean, typically, if I go plant an annual, it could be anywhere from $25 a bag for a 50-pound bag to $120 a bag. Lespedeza right now, I got it on a sale, a discount. I want to say it was originally like $330 a bag. I got it for like roughly $160, which was a great deal. So I jumped all over it. I got 3 bags of it. I'm going to be doing a lot of basically, they call it like a frost seeding. I have a whirlybird seeder on the back of my quad, and I'm basically just going to ride around, and I'm going to fling seed this stuff out around the property and try to get this stuff popping up at different places. I wanted to run it through my grain drill. It literally got shipped basically a month later than it was supposed to. So that part of it's a little disappointing. But, hey, again, it doesn't always happen the way we want it to. Sometimes you got to just go with the way the things come to you, and that's fine. I'm really looking forward to it because, with what we're doing with habitat and trying to create more cover for the wildlife, Lespedeza is another piece of my I'll call it artillery that I'm really trying to expand, and I'm really looking forward to it because this stuff, if you've never seen it out, on a game lands or anything, it is something that I'm really, really, really looking forward to adding to our, to our wildlife habitat at our place. In future shows, I'm going to be talking to you about game lands management. We're going to be talking about these tactics that I'm implementing and that we're implementing, and how, I've had some fantastic conversations with folks from the Pennsylvania Game Commission, and I think there's an open-minded, everybody's eyes and ears are open to some of these methods, seeing the fruits of what we're doing, seeing the benefits of wildlife, seeing just all this different habitat development. Really, really, really looking forward kind of to seeing where things go where we go from here, and how we can just kind of morph and build these relationships to see some of these game land properties and public lands be developed in a similar capacity, because there's no reason they can't. I'm not saying you have to follow all my suggestions or recommendations, but there's a lot of opportunities with a lot of these game lands to hold more wildlife, to improve the habitat, to improve the food sources for the animals. Because at the end of the day, wild animals are going to go where there's food. There's no food, they're not going to stay there, or they might stay there as a bedding area or a sleeping area, or that might be where their hut or home is. But at the end of the day, they're going to leave and they're going to go to other places to go get their food and then come back to for sleep. But I'm going to be talking about that in the future. Really looking forward to it. That being said, I want to just reiterate again, if you'd like to join the MOA, please go to MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Check us out at 10mileco.org. Again, that is 10mileco.org, or you can always call us at 724-579-0924. I'm doing turkey hunts. I've already had 3 successful hunts. I'm doing another one tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I actually think we're going to be video recording this one, so hopefully, fingers crossed. Wish me luck. Hopefully, put one on the fill another tag and make some people happy. So fingers crossed for that. Keep your eyes and ears peeled and your head on a swivel for this fall. We'll be doing some amazing upland bird hunts. Please come check us out if you just want to do a one-day hunt, half-day hunt. Wild Acres Farm is a place to go. If you want to do it on a regular basis, you should join the MOA, MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, I want to reiterate the fact that we have a 30% special for the Mariana Outdoorsman Association from May 1st until August 31st. Happy to have everybody. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. Last but not least, again, I want to thank Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency. They've been very supportive of us, and I'm really looking forward to the future of promoting the great outdoors in Washington County and southwestern Pennsylvania as a whole. That being said, I just want to wish everybody a safe turkey season. We still have the whole month of May for everybody to enjoy the great outdoors. Make sure you got the right ammo, folks. Can't stress this enough. Make sure you got the right ammo. Make sure you practice your shots in advance. Make sure you know where things are hitting. You never want to go pulling that trigger not knowing what you're doing or how you're doing it. But again, I'm Jason White. This is Great Outdoors. God bless you, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.